Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state law. When any crime is committed, law enforcement agencies have a uniform procedure in handling the crime and apprehending the guilty man. One prime consideration in uncovering the criminal is the motive. But on May 8th, a vicious murder made to look wanton and useless concealed a motive of greed.
Want a lift?
Thanks. How far are you going?
Oh, I'm going pretty far. All right, my friend. Get out of the car.
Well, I don't have any money.
Just get up. Now pick up your stuff. Attaboy. Now just get over there away from the car.
What?
.3016 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
My 1020 is 1/2 mile north of the Mountain Cafe on Highway 40. I just found the body of Jefferson Carson. He's been shot twice.
This is Matthews. Is that Carson the fainter?
That's right. And one thing else. Before he died, he sketched a picture. Might be his assailant.
I'll be right out.
10-4.
Oh, do sit down, Malcolm.
How can you be so calm at a time like this?
I've been patient for 6 years. I can wait a few more hours.
Let me see the sketch.
Found it right there on the highway.
Did you sketch this earlier?
I don't think so. There's blood here, and the charcoal looks fresh.
Description of the car on the bottom, too.
I found it over on the highway. He must have tossed it up there just before he died.
Why would anybody want to kill Carson? Everybody liked him up here.
There's his wallet. It was empty.
It was a robbery. Did he have a lot of money?
Now, he couldn't have had much. From all I heard, he never had any money. Never sold a painting. I know he spent a lot of time at the Mountain Cafe.
Mountain Cafe. Come on, let's go. You know, we got something to go on. This place looks familiar to me.
Yeah, it does.
The motive doesn't add up. Why should a guy kill another guy just for a couple of bucks in his wallet? Get an ambulance out here right away.
3016 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Send an ambulance and coroner to our 1020.
Tell him we'll be at the Mountain Cafe.
We'll be at the Mountain Cafe, 10-4.
10-4.
What about relatives?
Never heard him mention anybody.
Taters sometimes use different names. Run a fingerprint check on him. Have the lab boys get on it right away.
Operator, let me have the long-distance operator, please. I want to make a person-to-person call to Mrs. Blanche Cronin in Circle City. Oh, yeah. 22687's the number. Thank you.
Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Blanche Cronin. It's Granger. Hello? Yes, I hear you.
This is your friend from down south, Mrs. Cronin. I just called to offer my deepest condolences.
You're quite sure?
What do you want, a written guarantee? Just watch the papers.
Well, that's over.
What do we do now?
Wait until they notify me of my husband's death.
They better do it soon. I can't stand this much longer.
Pull yourself together.
It's just that I've never been accessory to a murder before.
Have you forgotten what he did to me? Playing dead all these years. Well, now he is dead. Can't you see the poetic justice of it?
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm Matthews, Highway Patrol.
Anything wrong?
You know a Jeff Carson?
Sure do. He's been coming around here for over 3 years.
Well, he's dead. He was shot and robbed just down the road.
Oh, no. I'll do anything I can to help. We were good friends.
What about his other friends?
Oh, Jeff liked everybody, and everybody liked him. But friends. I don't guess he had any other friends except me. He was sort of a lone wolf, kept to himself and his painting. That was everything to Jeff, his painting.
Where do you live?
Oh, he's got a shack near the village, down by the lake. You go down this road, turn left, and it's the first cabin.
What about his relatives? Do you know where he came from before he came here?
No, I used to be curious. I'd ask him questions, but he wouldn't answer. I figured he wanted it that way, so I stopped asking.
All right, tell me something. Were you and Carson fond of each other?
Yes, but we didn't get around to talking about it.
Well, I'm sorry about Carson. We might call you again. Thanks very much. Matthews, Highway Patrol. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Highway Patrol? What on earth is wrong? I mean, I came to bring Jeff some good news. I sold 2 of his paintings. I'm Claude Wynn. I own the art shop in the village.
When'd you sell them?
Late yesterday afternoon, Mr. Alex Dupree of Circle City. I sent him one of Jeff's paintings about a month ago. He was so impressed that he drove up yesterday. But what's wrong?
Carson was murdered.
Mr. Wynn, what did you know about him?
I only know that his was a great talent. One day these canvases will be worth a great deal. His style was unique, distinctive.
What about friends or relatives?
He never mentioned anyone. I always had the feeling that he was hiding, that he didn't want people to know anything about him.
This Dupree guy, what's his address?
I have his check here. I meant to come over last night, but my wife wasn't well.
I'm going to keep this for evidence for the time being, that is.
How did it happen, Mr. Matthews?
Well, they were shot and robbed.
Robbed? Why, Jeff never had more than a few dollars.
You recognize this guy?
No. I'm sure of it. And Jeff drew that, so it's an accurate likeness.
How do you know Carson drew it?
Style. Most anyone would recognize his work.
Thanks for your help.
The paintings, what happens to them?
Well, we look for relatives. There's got to be relatives someplace.
When you find an error, would you let me know? I'd like to buy these.
We'll be in touch with you.
All the papers I found have the name Jefferson Carson.
Yeah, but murdered, and I don't buy robbery as the motive. Let's go back to headquarters. We'll pick up that waitress. We need positive identification.
Blanche, the phone.
Yes? No, I'm sorry. You have the wrong number.
How long's it going to take?
Who knows? They have Carlton's fingerprints. They'll get fingerprints from the body. They'll check.
Everything's been so easy. Now this.
You mean the waiting? It's a pleasure now. He's dead.
What if they don't check the fingerprints? What if we had him killed for nothing?
Well, we'll take care of that if it happens. But it won't happen. The police are very thorough.
Thorough, yes. Maybe thorough enough to find us. What we did.
Nonsense. They'll never connect us with the murder. We paid cash to Granger.
And these are Jeff Carson's prints.
Yeah, it's the same guy, all right. Give me a rundown, will you?
Well, he was a manufacturer in Circle City. Disappeared under circumstances indicating suicide. Clothes were found on the Morgan River Bridge, but he was never officially declared dead. His wife, Blanche Cronin, lives at 4343 Pearl Street.
Is that a phone number?
Yes, right here.
Mrs. Matthews, I want to call to Mrs. Blanche Cronin. Circle City. What's that number again? Thanks. 22687. Yeah, that's right. The waitress identified the body?
Yeah, that's pretty tough on her. Williams. Okay, thanks. They couldn't identify the man in the sketch locally. They telephoned it to Washington.
Why should a guy run out on his wife and his business and then try and change his identity?
Maybe he wanted to be a painter and his wife wouldn't let him. It says in the report that the wife listed painting as a husband's hobby to help the police find him. Even won prizes for his painting at art school.
The disappearing act did him no good.
You think the murder could be connected with something in his past life?
Forget the robbery motive, I say yeah. Matthews. Oh, thanks. Oh, Mrs. Cronin, this is Matthews, Highway Patrol. We have some information about your husband.
Highway Patrol? But that's impossible. My husband committed suicide years ago.
I'm sorry to say this. He was very much alive until this morning when he was murdered.
Murdered? Oh, no.
Can you come down to patrol headquarters right away?
Yes, I'll drive right down. I told you all we'd have to do is wait and they'd send for me. Fingerprints never lie, you know. Oh, Malcolm, what's worrying you now?
The man you hired to do the job might take it into his head to blackmail us.
Relax. He can't expose us without exposing himself, now can he?
Dan Matthews had one solid clue in the death of Jefferson Carson, formerly Carlton Cronin. He had a portrait of death, a drawing of the killer.
I've gotten some more information on Cronin. There's an insurance policy in his life for $150,000.
Now we're getting to a motive for the murder.
His wife's been keeping up the payments until he's declared legally dead.
This front page ought to get us some action. That is, if Cronin was as good an artist as Wynn said he was.
You know, there is something familiar about that face.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. You sure there's nothing in the mug books?
Not the local ones.
The guy in the sketch is Nick Granger. Just had a call from the police in Marionville. He used to be Harry Vincent's bodyguard. Spent 2 years in prison for income tax evasion. Got out 3 months ago.
APB right away, armed and dangerous. Right. Now we know who the killer is.
Well, maybe Granger won't be running. He didn't know Cronin made that sketch.
He's gonna see the papers, isn't he?
Could you be seated here, please?
Oh, Mrs. Cronin. Thanks for identifying your husband. Must have been pretty rough on you.
It was ghastly. But those things must be done, I suppose.
You want the body sent home?
No. He chose these mountains. Let him be buried here and send me the bill.
That's out of our department. You're gonna have to take care of that yourself.
Very well. Now about the cabin and the paintings. My husband never changed his will. I'm his sole heir. Have you made provision to keep his things safe?
A couple of his friends are taking care of that.
I was so surprised on reading the papers to learn he'd become a professional artist. Well, you know where you can reach me.
Yes, indeed. Mrs. Cronin, we might need you again. You see, right next to your husband's body, we found a sketch. And it was done by your husband. Could have been the last person he saw or his murderer. We'll be in touch. Have her followed.
Yeah, I've already signed Watson the job of tailing her. You think she knows something?
She admitted reading the papers. She said nothing about the sketch.
That's funny. She wouldn't say anything about her husband's killer.
Yeah, you're so right.
Hi. 70 and a 55. Can I see your license, please?
Sorry, officer. I didn't realize I was going that fast.
It happens. Take it out, please. Nick Granger? Yeah.
Nick Granger.
$47.25 to headquarters.
Headquarters by.
Just stopped Nick Granger, heading north toward Circle City.
How'd he get away from you?
Hit me on the head while I was checking his driver's license.
You'd better come in and have the doc look you over. 10-4? 10-4. We just got a lead on Granger. He's headed north toward Circle City. 4725 stopped him for speeding, but before he could make an arrest, Granger wrapped him over the head.
All right, roadblocks all around Circle City. We can't stop him from getting in. We'll stop him from getting out. Any reports on Mrs. Cronin?
Well, she's in town now. Got to her apartment about
3 minutes ago.
This guy, Alex Dupree, that's the one Wynn sold the Carson paintings to. I want to have a talk with him.
Where do you want to meet him?
I'll be in Circle City. Get his phone number and address, will you?
Right.
No message. Thank you. I'll call later. If they catch Granger, you and I are through, Malcolm.
Why? He's a professional killer. He won't talk.
But the police are smart. They'll know he had no connection with Jeff Carson, and we'll be as guilty as he is.
Blanche, don't be stupid. Look at all the trouble we went to in order to have Granger take care of your husband. And now...
Now I'm ready to murder someone myself?
I guess that's what I was going to say.
We can't hire another killer. There isn't time. If we don't want to be charged with murder, we'll have to kill the only man who can implicate us. They have his pictures. You've seen them yourself in the paper.
All right, if we have to do it.
Yeah, that's Granger, all right.
He must be headed for the back door of the Cronin apartment.
If we pick him up now, we won't have the connection we need.
Well, it sure looks like Granger and Mrs. Cronin are in this together.
There's one thing bothering me. How did Mrs. Cronin know her husband was still alive?
You think it could have been that painting Alex Dupree showed in his gallery here in Circle City?
Well, could be. Let's break up that conversation and find out.
Still no answer.
Think of some other way to get in touch with him. Somebody who knows Granger.
You can save yourself the trouble.
What are you doing here? You know the police are looking for you, don't you?
I know.
If you'd done your job properly in the first place, my husband wouldn't have lived long enough to sketch you.
I came by for some more dough. You see, now that the police are on my tail, I figured the job's worth a lot more.
How much more?
Maybe 1,000.
If I give it to you, then what?
I can get out of the state. Maybe even out of the country.
Search him, Malcolm. Get his gun.
What are you trying to pull?
Raise your hands, please.
You finally figured out I better be dead for you to be safe.
That's the idea, Mr. Granger.
Now, look, I'm walking out of here. You just back out that door.
The place is surrounded. You can get downstairs, and that's all.
Now, with her in front of me, I'll go all the way.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I want to bet.
Cuff him, too. It's like he pulled the trigger.
I told you, Blanche. I told you it wouldn't work.
It never does. See Highway Patrol again next week. Until then, remember, if you care to drive, drive with care. This is Bradley Crawford saying, see you next week.